The x32 is one of the most popular consoles in the world, and we built the ultimate worship mix that this thing has to offer. You can actually download the file that I put together on this thing in the description below, and if you have an M32, this will work for that console as well. So let me give you a listen to the mix, see what we've got going on, and then I'll take you through the layout and all the processing that's happening in this file. So let's just talk through the layout of this file really quick. With the x32, there's not a ton that you can do to customize your layout, but I did do a couple things with the options that you can change. Inputs are on the left, outputs and DCAs are on the right, and then the user-defined section has a vocal reverb return and then a vocal delay send. Below those two knobs are mutes for those effects, and then below the delay is a tap so that you can tap in your time there. As far as our inputs, we've got 2 kicks, 2 snares, 3 toms, a hi-hat, and a stereo pair of overheads, a bass and a moog, 2 stereo guitars, 2 acoustics, stereo keys, stereo tracks, click, 5 vocals, 3 MC mics, a pastor and a couple hosts, and then an MD mic. And then if we look at our aux inputs, we've got a stereo channel for music and then a stereo for video too, just, you know, utilities there. Looking at effects, we've got 2 vocal effects, stereo reverb, stereo delay, and then just a single drum reverb, and that's all of our effects. And then looking at our outputs, we've got a drum group, drum parallel, vocal group, vocal parallel. We've got a band bus. This is actually just for our broadcast mix. So this band bus doesn't actually go to the PA. This is so we can adjust the levels of our instruments going to our broadcast if we need to be able to adjust that. Same thing for playback. We've got a playback bus, doesn't affect the house, only affects broadcast. Speech bus is the same situation. And then our 3 buses for effects sends. And then looking at the DCAs, we've got 8 DCAs here and pretty standard stuff, just 1 for each instrument group and then 1 for vocals and band as well. This 8th DCA is called vocal effects. I don't usually do this on my files because I typically have my vocal effects on a couple faders to my right, but since we just have knobs for this, I still wanted to put my vocal effects on a fader. So I just threw them on a DCA here, and if my worship leader were to start talking, I can just quickly dip those out so they're not drowning in reverb. And then we've got our left-right mix. Looking at matrices, we've got a PA left and right, a sub and a fill matrix, and then that broadcast matrix that we mentioned earlier. And that's the layout of the console. Before I start diving into processing, just a reminder, download that file that's in the description below. Even if you don't have an x32 or M32, you can download the editor for free on your computer, poke around the file. If you hear something that you're like, man, I wonder what he's doing there, you can totally use that as a resource and apply it to whatever console you do have. Nothing that I'm doing here is only able to be done on the x32. You can do this on many other other consoles as well. So let's just take a listen. We'll take a listen to each instrument group soloed, and then we'll throw them all together in the mix and take a listen to everything together again. All right, so let's take a listen to how these drums are sounding. I'm gonna give you the whole drum mix, drum group, drum parallel group, and reverb. Let you hear that. Then we'll take out the reverb and just listen to what the parallel group is doing to the mix, and then just put it all back together so you can hear it cohesively again. So that's whole drum mix. Let's take out that verb. And then just the drum, I'll take out the parallel group and then put it back in, and the verb as well. So you could hear, had the whole drum mix, then I took verb out. First of all, taking the verb out just sucks the life out of the drums, in my opinion. That reverb puts them in a really nice space. And then I took out the parallel group. And what that's doing is really just helping to beef these drums up and make our drum sound super consistent. We've already got a really great drummer, so it's not really a huge problem, but that parallel group is just like the extra sauce on top of the drum sound already. And then as far as compression for that, I've actually got an external effect inserted on here. So this is just an 1176 style compressor, just giving me that super pumpy, crushed sound. And then for the sake of keeping everything in time and in phase, I have the 1176 inserted on the regular drum group as well, but that compressor is not compressing. So doing no compression on the regular drum group, that's just to keep everything in time, keep them going through the same process. So let's take a listen to bass now. So really great tone here, just straight from the source. As far as processing, I'm compressing this a good bit just to keep my low end signal consistent in the PA. And then some minor EQ, little low end boost, a little boost at 700 to help with that grit, and then a low pass filter to take away any of the just unwanted buzz from the signal. So pretty straightforward here, and so not having to do a ton of work here. And the reason that I'm not having to do a ton of processing here is because Zach is sending us a great bass tone just straight off the pedal board. If you're a worship pastor, bass player even, or audio engineer, and you all are just struggling to get your bass sounding good, we actually have a course that we filmed with Zach, and he walks us through, how he crafts his tone and gets the results that we're hearing. So check out that course in the description below. All right, moving on to our guitars. We've got two stereo electrics and an acoustic here. So let's just listen to them soloed out. All right, they sound like electric guitars to me. As far as processing, I do have a compressor inserted here just to act as a safety net, but usually when they're playing, it's not actually compressing. It's just if they were to throw on a pedal and that just drastically affects their tone, this would be able to catch that. As far as EQ, just a low mid cut, just keep the muddiness away, and a high mid cut to keep it out of the way of the vocals, and then a high pass filter just to keep it out of the way of the bass and drums. And that same thing applies to both guitars here. As far as acoustic, this is really just acting, like acoustics do as a percussion instrument. So I've got it high pass pretty good and a low and high mid cut just to clean things up, but otherwise nothing crazy here. Also some compression, just again, acting as a safety net, helping to keep that acoustic consistent when, the worship leader's playing, gets excited, plays too hard. So this is just helping to tame that. Looking at keys, we'll listen to them first and then I'll talk about them a little bit. Those keys are really just helping to hold down that low mid area and add a little bit of sparkle in our mix. Straight off the source, I felt like these were a little bit dark, so I'm boosting a lot of high end here just to help them cut through, and then taking a good bit of low end and low mids out because I just felt like they were a little bit muddy. And then our standard high pass filter around 150 just to keep them out of the way of the bass and drums, just like guitars. As far as compressor, I am doing a good bit of compression here, just, maybe 3-4 dB, just to help these keys be consistent in the mix. Moving right along to tracks, let's take a listen. We really have the same story here as far as getting a really good source tone from these tracks. They did a really great job producing these, and so we're not having to do a ton, just some minor cuts in the low mid and high mid, and then a low end boost. Because we do have that sub bass there, kind of want to emphasize that and make sure that it provides a good low end bed. Otherwise, no compression. These tracks are, again, already produced really well, and so we didn't really feel the need to do that. All right, so we've heard all the instruments soloed. Let's listen to them together without the vocals. So our band is sounding super solid. Let's just listen to vocals just like we did everything else and walk you through the processing.
Good plans. He has good plans for me. So I will take heart in deserts and gardens. He has.
So that's vocals dry with regular vocal group and parallel. Let's take out that parallel and let you listen to what that's doing.
If I know my Father, I know my Father has good plans, good plans, good plans. If I know my Father, I know my Father has good plans.
So you can hear with that vocal parallel group, overall I think it's pretty subtle, but whenever we put it in, and then especially whenever we get it into the full band mix, this just helps those vocals just to cut through and give it that extra oomph, in the mix. Ultimately just helping us to get a consistent vocal tone. Now there is one caveat with parallel vocals is that you're bringing the noise floor up, so you have to be careful with this whenever you're using it in a room, not to push it so much that your mics start feeding back. Looking at the individual vocals, this is same old. There is nothing crazy happening here. Just cleaning up the low mids, cleaning up the high mids, and then this high band number 4 here is just helping with that sibilance. And then as far as compressing a good bit here. I mean, probably 4 to 6 dB in the regular parts, and then when he really starts to lay into it, maybe even 10 dB of compression. Again, going back to that point of keeping our vocals consistent and intelligible in the mix.
He has good plans for me, so I will take heart in deserts and gardens. He has good plans. He has good plans for me. If I know my Father, I know my Father has good plans. Good plans. Good plans. If I know my Father, I know my Father.
So I think this mix is shaping up pretty well. If I had to use this on a Sunday morning, I think I would be pretty happy, and you can too, because don't forget, we have this file available for you to download. And the great thing is we actually have 2 versions. The one that I'm using here with all the bus processing and a simplified version. So if you're using your console for things like in-ear mixes and you need the extra bus real estate, you can use the simplified version and still get a pretty killer result without that group processing. And speaking of resources, we've got tons available for you, just like this video, talking talking about a front of house checklist. So helping you refine all your processes on Sunday morning and get consistency week to week. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content coming your way, and we'll see you in the next one.